Now, just to pivot a little bit, you came up with the name Benevolent Bakery for the company, and that immediately signals that you're giving back as part of your identity as far as the business goes. Why did you choose
Yes.
to make philanthropy such a fundamental part of your business model?
I have to thank a good friend of mine, Emma. She actually, so yeah, Emma Butler, a good friend of mine that I grew up with, she founded a nonprofit in Oklahoma City called the Hair Initiative. Um, and at the time, she really bootstrapped herself and put a lot of pressure on herself, put a lot of weight on herself to make that nonprofit successful. But she was able to get it off the ground with one of her friends. But down the road, I ran into her at a wedding actually, and she was telling me about it, and it resonated with me. So not only just her being a good friend, but her mission that she was on, I wanted to help. So long story short, she asked me to join the board of her nonprofit to really help her with some of the business connections. At the time, I had some good bank connections to help with some of the financial needs to run the nonprofit. And before that, I had zero footprint or experience in nonprofit work. So that was really my first foray into it. And knew immediately, honestly, after the first board meeting, that I won't say immediately, I knew as soon as I found out that I had value add and that I could actually move the needle for someone, it was really something that I just absolutely fell in love with. And from a timing standpoint, that was at a time where our very first cannabis venture was doing well. And so I was kind of running those two projects in my life in parallel, but never crossed over. Um, and just one day, I can't even credit any particular conversation or thought, but something came over me that I wanted to merge those two lanes that I was running in my life of working in the nonprofit space with the cannabis industry. And so that was kind of the thought process of putting together a brand that worked in collaboration, really that made donations to a nonprofit. But the one sticking point that I had is that I found that a lot of nonprofits would take the money, but if it came from a cannabis brand, they wouldn't want to, cross promote or really say they're proudly working with a cannabis brand. Um, and so while there are, several organizations that I wish had taken a different stance, that was something that I was pretty hard and fast on that if, we're going to collaborate together, we're truly going to collaborate together. I want to be able to tell my customers what we're doing with their money. And so not being able to put the nonprofit that we're working with on marketing collateral, email campaigns, I saw as prohibitive to the true mission and the impact of that mission. So that was like my one stipulation was we want to make donations. We want to donate our time, where we can, but we also want to cross promote. I want to be able to tell customers, here's where we're giving the money to, and here's what this organization does, all the way to the dollar amount if we can. And some of our partners have provided that information and they have provided that access and really the opportunity to cross promote.